So today we are going to have a wonderful session about using whole food nutrition as a way to prevent and recover from lifestyle diseases. So this is something very interesting, and I know many of you are eagerly waiting to learn more about this. So um, before entering into the topic, I would like to give a short introduction about myself and my own journey, which may help you to choose a healthier lifestyle. So I was suffering with a lot of health issues since my childhood, and it was my personal healing journey which led me to explore more about natural nutrition. So this has made a great impact in my life, and ever since I learned more about this, I started um, teaching people about choosing a healthy diet and lifestyle to lead a healthier and happier life. So this is a short introduction about myself. I'm basically a homeopathic doctor, and I I also am certified in lifestyle medicine, and have done a PG diploma course in applied nutrition. So now my practice is mostly uh, like helping people to choose healthful nutrition and healthy lifestyle. And I've seen a lot of people getting much better after applying these lifestyle changes and good nutrition. I believe that this is a need of the hour because we are encountering a lot of lifestyle diseases these days. All right, so we are going to enter into today's session. So today we are going to learn about the different types of lifestyle diseases which are prevalent these days. So we're going to have an introduction about the lifestyle diseases. And secondly, we are going to learn about the dietary factors which may contribute to these lifestyle diseases, or the dietary factors which are linked with these lifestyle diseases, and about the solution for these problems. And we are also going to learn about different nutrients which are present in natural and healthful wholesome foods. First of all, the existing lifestyle diseases. So what are lifestyle diseases? These are non-communicable chronic lifestyle diseases which are caused mostly because of lifestyle factors such as unhealthy eating, lack of exercise, stress, and then unhealthy habits like smoking and alcoholism. So these can all contribute to these lifestyle diseases. And we are going to be seeing the major lifestyle diseases which are contributing to a lot of uh, morbidity and mortality. So obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and different types of cancers are all coming under the category of these lifestyle diseases. I would like to give some statistical data to understand more about the seriousness of these lifestyle diseases. So, from the information taken from the WHO website, shows that the non-communicable lifestyle diseases kill nearly 41 million people each year, which is equivalent to 71% of all deaths globally, which is really pathetic and a huge number. Each year, 15 million people die from an NCD between the ages of 30 to 69. Cardiovascular diseases account for most of the NCD deaths, 17.9 million people annually, followed by cancers, 9.0 million, respiratory diseases, 3.9 million, and diabetes, 1.6 million. So now we can understand that it's very important to address these lifestyle diseases, and unless otherwise we make positive changes in our diet and healthy lifestyle, it wouldn't be possible to prevent these lifestyle diseases. So that is what all experts around the globe are recommending. Now, about the Indian scenario, according to the ICMR India State Level Disease Burden Study Report, India, here the estimated proportion of all deaths due to NCDs has increased from 37% to in 1990 to 61.8% in 2016. So it's going on increasing, and as we all know, India is becoming the diabetic capital of the world. So, what are the dietary factors which are contributing to these lifestyle diseases? As we all know, an unhealthy diet can cause so many troubles to the system, to the body. And many of you who are already into a healthy and natural lifestyle might have read a lot, might have experienced this from your own journey, that a healthy diet is very vital for preventing and also managing many health problems. So, what is wrong with our diets these days? There are three important things which I would like to share with you today. These days, we are consuming a lot of highly processed and refined foods, which are directly connected with the incidence of these lifestyle diseases. Highly processed and refined foods, in the sense, those foods which undergo a lot of chemical processing, which undergo a lot of processing where the valuable fiber and nutrients are removed. For example, the grains are totally polished, and we take a lot of refined flour, which are devoid of all nutrients, and it's just refined carbs. And we also consume a lot of refined foods. For example, white sugar, refined oil, and all these things. And excess fats also are contributing factors for the lifestyle diseases, especially the saturated fats and trans fats, which are present in most of the junk foods and unhealthy foods. And on top of that, foods which are oily, which are fried in oil, have a lot of saturated fats. And these saturated fats and cholesterol are overloaded in foods which come from animal-based sources. And then the third thing is proteins. We all know that proteins are very much needed for our growth. Protein is very important macronutrient. But then if it goes in excess, what would happen? Excess proteins can cause inflammation in the body, which can be triggering many other lifestyle diseases, starting from high blood pressure, high cholesterol, to different types of cancers. So those proteins which are coming from animal-based foods have been shown to be inflammatory. These are called pro-inflammatory foods. So these are some of the foods which may contribute to the existing lifestyle diseases, and there are several studies which have shown this. We are living in a world where we are seeing a nutritional paradox, which is we are overfed but undernourished. Isn't that true? We could see that we have abundance of food, but are we getting enough nutrition? We are seeing a lot of deficiencies and deficiency diseases. And we could also see that our health is not perfect in spite of eating well. This could be because we are undernourished and though we are eating well. What could be the problem? Unless otherwise we are eating whole foods, which are natural, which are abundant in healing nutrients, beneficial nutrients, we will be in the undernourished condition. So what is going to be the solution for all these problems? We know that people who are diagnosed with these lifestyle diseases, they may have to spend their entire life taking medications and going for all the medical procedures. And in spite of the best medical treatments, we are seeing that these lifestyle diseases are leading to several complications. For example, those who have diabetes, they end up with several complications like diabetic neuropathy, where the nerves are affected, diabetic nephropathy, where the kidney is affected. And likewise, we are seeing other complications like heart disease. If one person is diagnosed with a lifestyle disease, it leads to whole lot of other complications. Obesity, for example, can lead to a host of health problems. Obesity is one of the causative factor for some of the cancers obesity can lead to diabetes, and it can also lead to heart disease and high blood pressure. So many of these lifestyle diseases are interlinked. So if a person has one particular problem, then the chances for getting another lifestyle disease is more. So doctors who are researching from a different angle understood the connection between the food factors or the dietary factors and these lifestyle diseases. There were a lot of research studies done by doctors who are specializing in nutritional medicine. So that is what we are going to explore today. We all know that from nature cure's perspective or natural hygiene's perspective, food is medicine. I hope all of you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you.
We can hear you. Please carry on. It's going good. Thank you.
Thank you. So, food as medicine is not only an ancient phrase, it's ever useful. It is always powerful. And that is what these research studies are telling us. Yes, now science has come to understand that food can be used as medicine. There are several research studies done by different doctors around the globe. And I'm going to explain some of those important research studies done so far. There are numerous. I'm not going to tell everything, but in this limited time, I'll share some of the very important and interesting studies done by medical professionals and researchers around the globe. So there is Dr. Neil Barnard, who has done a research about reversing diabetes using diet. And his studies has proven that by consuming a low-fat plant-based diet, it would be possible to reverse diabetes. And there is Dr. Dean Ornish, who has created a program for reversing heart disease. And his studies has proven that even heart disease can be reversed, prevented, managed, and reversed with the help of a healthy lifestyle, which includes a low-fat plant-based diet, relaxation techniques, exercise, and emotional well-being. There's also another study done by Dr. Carvel Esselstyn, a surgeon, and he has also proven that by choosing a low-fat plant-based diet, we would be even able to reverse heart disease. Not only preventing, but also reversing heart disease is possible. So these are some interesting, important studies. We're going to see further evidence. Plant-based diets have been shown to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease or heart disease and mortality. So this is from a publication on the Journal of the American Heart Association. It's true that by choosing a healthful diet, we will be able to reduce the risk of heart disease. There are two other interesting studies which I would like to share, the Adventist Health Studies 1 and 2. These studies also reveal that by eating a healthful plant-based diet can incrementally lower one's risk of high blood pressure, obesity, and diabetes. So this study was about a group of people who are already following a healthy lifestyle. There's another study, another important study called the EPIC Oxford study. And this study also showed that plant-based diets appear to be more protective against cardiometabolic diseases based on their high fiber content and favorable fatty acids composition. Plant-based diets, especially when rich in high-quality plant foods, are associated with substantially lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus. This is from PLOS Medicine research article. So what are those high-quality plant foods? We are going to explore more about this in today's webinar. A few more studies I would like to share. A systematic review published in the BMJ journals concluded that plant-based diets accompanied by educational interventions can significantly improve psychological health, quality of life, HbA1c levels, and weight, and therefore the management of diabetes. Furthermore, plant-based diets could potentially improve diabetic neuropathic pain and the levels of total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides in type 2 diabetes. Isn't that interesting? So it's not only helpful in preventing health problems, but it's also helpful in managing complications of diabetes like diabetic neuropathy, which is a big trouble for diabetic patients. I would also like to share details about the GEICO studies 1 and 2. Over the course of 2 studies which were done, one is for 18 weeks duration, another one is for 22 weeks duration, the GEICO employees experienced significant weight loss, lowered their cholesterol level, and improved their attendance at work by following a healthful plant-based diet. And they also noticed that the employees were experiencing less anxiety and less stress by following a healthful diet. So these are the add-on benefits of choosing a healthful diet. So all these research studies point towards a wholesome plant-based diet for healthy living. Now we are going to explore more about the nutrients present in plant-based diets and the overall health benefits. First of all, we should understand what a whole food plant-based diet is. In one of the studies, I told that um, we are going to explore more about high quality plant-based foods. So what are those high quality plant-based foods? These are whole foods. Whole foods are foods which are as close to nature. So what are those foods which are included, or what are those food groups which are included in this category of whole food plant-based diet? Fruits, greens, vegetables, legumes, pulses, whole grains and millets, nuts and seeds. So these are the foods which come into this category. And we are going to explore about each and every one of these food groups, and we'll be exploring about the nutritional benefits of these food groups. Fruits. We all know that fruits are healthy foods, and almost all of us have sweet tooth. So we can satisfy our sweet tooth by consuming a lot of fruits. Fruits are rich in fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients. Antioxidants are very much needed to reduce the impact of free radical damage happening in our body every day. And phytonutrients are those nutrients which are present in plant foods. You know why these fruits and vegetables and greens are in different colors? This is because of the phytonutrient content in them. So different fruits have different phytonutrients in them. For example, papaya has papain, which is very helpful in dealing with digestive disorders. Pineapple has bromelain, which has been shown to have an anti-inflammatory effect. And watermelon has lycopene, which has shown to be very beneficial for preventing cancers. Likewise, we could see each and every fruit is loaded with a lot of phytonutrients. There are thousands and thousands of phytonutrients identified, and their effects have been studied by researchers. So by choosing colorful fruits and consuming those fruits in the whole form, we would be able to get these nutrients easily. Then comes the second group, vegetables. So vegetables provide us with fiber, vitamin C, beta carotene, riboflavin, calcium, iron, and other nutrients. Vegetables are also coming in different colors, and these also provide us with abundance of phytonutrients. Legumes grew. Legumes are beans, peas, lentils, and they provide us with protein, fiber, calcium, iron, zinc, and other B vitamins. To get the maximum benefits out of legumes, we have to soak them at least for 4 to 6 hours, drain the water, or even if we can sprout them and use them in our salads or cook them in a healthy way. So these legumes provide us with healthy protein. These are not the inflammatory proteins which we discussed about some time back. These are
వస్తుంది వాయిస్ వస్తుంది.
these are healthy proteins. I hope all of you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. Then comes a group of grains, whole grains. Whole grains are sources of complex carbohydrates, fiber, protein, B vitamins, and zinc. From a natural hygiene perspective, grains are not our natural foods. It's true. But when shifting from a regular unhealthy diet or a junk food diet to a healthy diet, it's okay to consume whole grains. It's okay to consume millets in the whole form, in the unpolished form. So, by consuming these, we could get a lot of complex carbohydrates. These complex carbohydrates are totally different from the refined carbs. We need not worry about these healthy carbs. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds provide us with essential nutrients, especially this essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids, the omega-3 fatty acids. So these omega-3 fatty acids are very beneficial. These have anti-inflammatory effect, and these can help reduce the impact of this can help in reducing the risk of heart disease, and it's very essential for heart health. We can get these omega-3 fatty acids by consuming nuts and seeds, and the daily recommended quantity is like a handful per day. The British Dietetic Association says that well-planned plant-based diets can support healthy living at every age and lifestyle, including a wide variety of healthy whole foods. We can ensure that the diet is balanced and sustainable. And also, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, the largest professional organization of nutritionists in the world, they also say that plant-based diets help reduce the risk for heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, stroke, obesity, and some types of cancers. The updated position paper presents a section on which environmental issues, which concludes plant-based diets are more sustainable and less damaging to the environment. So by consuming plant foods, we are not only helping our health, we are also helping the entire planet. So by consuming these whole plant-based foods, we'll be able to get most of the nutrients which we need. It has to be well planned as recommended by the dietetic associations around the world. So we may be wondering whether we'll be able to get all the nutrients by consuming these plant-based foods. Will we be able to get the calcium? Will we be able to get enough protein? Will we be able to get enough iron? Will we be able to get zinc? Will we be able to get the B vitamins? So these are all the questions which may arise when we speak about plant-based diets. And there are a lot of myths surrounding plant-based diets. So we can understand something that if it is well planned, we can easily get the essential nutrients. For example, to get calcium, it is not needed that we have to only have dairy. There are better sources of calcium from plant foods. Sesame seeds have literally 10 times more calcium than cow's milk. There are a lot of greens and beans which can provide us with good calcium. Likewise, iron in the plant foods, they can be absorbed by the body and are beneficial. This iron is called non-heme iron, though it's not as readily absorbed like that of the iron in animal-based foods. The non-heme iron is not going to cause any trouble in the long term. We will get the needed iron by consuming plant foods. and we'll be able to get other nutrients too. Protein, we need not worry because there are a lot of sources. All the legumes, lentils, pulses, they all provide us with proteins. Even nuts and seeds, they also provide us with protein. So we can get all these nutrients easily on a plant-based diet. That is why the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics clearly says that the plant-based diets can be recommended for people at every stage of life, provided it is well planned. So we have seen some important information about the benefits of a plant-based diet, and also the beneficial nutrients present in plant-based diet. If somebody is using your microphone, please switch it off for some time till the presentation is over. And I would request all of you to close your videos so that there won't be any interruption. Thank you. So by consuming these plant-based foods, there are many people who have recovered from these lifestyle diseases. Anecdotal evidence says that even cancers have been reversed, and we can also see from clinical evidence and from research evidence that people consuming a healthy plant-based diet, they are reducing the risk of many lifestyle diseases. It's very vital to choose a healthy diet for healthy living, and when it is combined with other lifestyle factors such as exercise, stress management, this is going to give even more benefits. So with this, I would like to conclude this session, and we are going to be discussing more, especially in the question and answer session. I would recommend all of you to share some of your questions. You can type your questions and I'll be able to read them out and answer your questions. So this is just an introductory webinar to give an overview about the benefits of eating a whole food plant-based diet and its benefits, the scientific evidence behind this whole food plant-based diet. And I would also like to add a few more points before concluding. And this is about our body's natural makeup and the plant-based diet. So if we study in depth about our anatomy and our physiology, we could understand that our bodies are designed to thrive on plant foods. Yes, you can learn more about this. So that is another thing. From nature's perspective also, plant foods are best for our health because these are coming directly from nature. Fruits, vegetables, and greens, legumes, all these are natural foods. And when we consume all these foods in the most natural form, we are going to get all the benefits. And it is not needed that we have to simply consume all these in a tasteless raw salad form. We can make it into very healthy and tasty recipes. Even salads can be made into tastiest foods just by applying our creativity and just making different combinations. A few more points I would like to add are plant-based foods are rich in fiber. Fiber is like a brush. It helps clean up the system and it helps reduce the cholesterol levels. And those who wish to reduce weight easily, the best option is to choose more healthful plant foods because these plant foods provide us with better satiation or better satiety because of the fiber content. And there is no need to restrict the quantity, no restrict to count the calories when we consume a wholesome plant-based diet because of the fiber content. And plant-based foods are abundantly rich in these antioxidants, which I already told about its benefits. It can help in reducing the free radical damage. It can help delay the aging process. It can help in preventing many of the lifestyle diseases. Plant-based foods are totally free from cholesterol, which is an add-on benefit for people who have heart disease and high cholesterol levels, and also high blood pressure. So these are some of the benefits of plant-based diets. And I would like to thank all of you for patiently listening to me and sharing your valuable time with me in this webinar. Now I'm going to take all your questions. You can type all your questions, and I'm going to answer one by one. I would like to thank the Wellcure team for supporting me in this webinar, and we are going to come up with a few other programs too, which will be announced after the question and answer session. Yeah, I'm going to take your questions. Thank you very much. I'm just reading reading the questions, and I'm going to be answering. You can start typing your questions. So there is a question: is it good to take food groups as mono food for each meal, or we should eat 5 groups at a time? This is a very good question. So we just need to have variety in our food. It's not needed that we have to have all the 5 groups in one meal. It's okay if you can have mono food group, but you have to ensure that you're bringing in all these food groups in your diet, your day-to-day diet. There is another question. When we soak legumes in pulses, don't we lose out on vitamin B12? So this is an interesting question. When we soak legumes in pulses, we are actually uh, reducing the impact of the phytates. We are removing the anti-nutrients which hinder the absorption of zinc, proteins, and other vital nutrients. So it is always good to soak the legumes in pulses. And here I would like to say that legumes and pulses are not reliable sources of vitamin B12, though they provide us with other B vitamins. Another question is, what plant-based food would you particularly recommend to build a good immune system? Very good question. So to have a healthy immune system, the recommended foods are fruits, greens, vegetables. These are rich in abundant um, immune building nutrients like vitamin C. Vitamin E is also present in some of these foods, and beta carotene. And there are many nutrients which are present in these foods. So by consuming these foods, we'll be able to support the immune system. And it's also very important to take sunlight exposure to get vitamin D, which is also vital for a healthy immune system. Baking, air frying are there. Are those cooking methodology good in the whole food plant-based diet system? Yes, as far as the whole food plant-based diet is considered, air frying and baking are okay, but there are also still better methods, the traditional cooking methods, which I would recommend. Is wild rice the same as black rice? Is forest elephant rice the same as wild rice? To answer this, I would say wild rice is not a grain, it's a pseudo grain, and black rice is a grain. And I think the forest elephant rice, that may be a grain, I'm not very sure. So these are different varieties, and if you bring in these different varieties, we'll get different nutrients. Another question, use of microwave ovens detrimental to health? Yes, because the more we use microwaving, the more nutrients, micronutrients are depleted. So better to choose healthful cooking options. You can learn more about healthy cooking. You can just check Wellcure website. They have a lot of healthy cooking courses going on. So you'll learn more how to make healthy, tasty food. Yeah. Then another question is, why milk, tea, and coffee are not recommended? Okay. So first of all, to tell about milk, there are many studies about dairy which have shown that consumption of dairy products are linked with some types of cancers. Some studies are saying so. So that is why it's not coming under the uh, in the whole food plant-based spectrum. And from a whole food plant-based perspective, we are only focusing on foods which are coming from plant sources. Since milk is not a plant food, it's not included here. Why tea and coffee are not recommended? Because tea and coffee, though there are some studies which are showing the benefits of tea and coffee, still tea and coffee are considered as stimulants because they have caffeine in them. But there are a lot of healthier alternatives which we can use instead of tea and coffee. For example, we can have herbal teas. We can make coffee with green peas and other lentils. So there are many such options which we can choose, better, healthier options. And caffeine can increase high blood pressure, can cause several health problems in larger doses. So it's always recommended to reduce tea and coffee and if possible drop them and choose healthful diet. There is another question, how to categorize plant-based foods into breakfast, lunch and dinner, best time to consume. So the best time to consume is whenever you're feeling hungry, you can have plant foods. And how to categorize these into breakfast, lunch and dinner, it's simple. We just need to replan our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That way, we are including all these healthful foods into this. Another question is best way to start your day with. From my personal opinion, I would say the best way to start the day is by starting with fruits. A fruit breakfast or a green smoothie is what I usually start my day with. There's another question. All family members have different body types, so how each one can maintain their immune system with same common recipe of fruit or vegetable? It is true that individuals have different health problems, different body types, and then also different preferences regarding food. But there are some. But what we are discussing today is a general topic, like which are applicable for almost all of us. So by including fruits, vegetables, and greens in different ratios and different recipes, we'll be able to bring in all the nutrients. And we can do a lot of permutations and combinations in the recipes. That way, we can ensure that all family members are satisfied, like each and everyone gets their favorite recipes. Yeah. So there is another question. While making almond milk, do we have to de-skin them or just a soaking process is enough? I would say just a soaking process is enough, and then drain the water and make the almond milk. This way you're getting the beneficial fiber. Do we have to soak other nuts apart from almonds to maximize their benefits? Yes, better if you soak. There's another question. Does plant-based diet result in loss of body fat and therefore weight loss? I personally find energy levels are better from plant-based food consumption, but can we gain weight too? Yes, plant-based diet, especially a whole food plant-based diet, which is low in saturated fats, can help in weight reduction. That's what has been shown in studies, and this is what people around the world are seeing from their own experiences. And as you have mentioned, your energy levels would get better because plant foods are providing us with a lot of beneficial nutrients. And we are not spending a lot of energy to digest the food on first hand. That's another benefit. And is there a possibility to gain weight in a healthy way on a plant-based diet? Yes, there are many athletes around the world who are following whole plant food diets. So they are maintaining healthy weight. It is possible. There are questions which are repeated again and again, so I'm going to skip all of those because I need to answer the maximum questions in this short time. All right, then there are questions like how to plan my diet for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and all. I would say this is more of this has to be a personalized thing. It's better you work with your health coach, your nutritionist, or your healthcare provider to plan your diet as per individual needs. Here, we are just trying to provide information about the benefits of including whole plant foods. There's another question. So long as one is consuming enough of fruits and vegetables daily, is there a need for consuming nuts and seeds? Yes, it is essential to consume some nuts and seeds. We need a little bit of these, at least a handful per day, to get the omega-3 fatty acids. There's another question. So good to discard soaking water each time in which legumes have been soaking? Yes, you have to discard that water because it has anti-nutrients in it. So discard it and use fresh water for cooking. And there's another question, what cooking oil is recommended for cooking? So there are many other questions regarding this cooking oil. So the answer is, on a whole food plant-based diet, there is no role for oil. Here we have to cook without oil. We are going to get the healthy fats from whole foods like coconut, from seeds and nuts. So you could learn more about these healthy cooking techniques from WellCure website. They have a lot of recipes, oil-free healthy recipes. Browse through the website and get more details and try those recipes for yourself. Yeah, there's another question you have mentioned that having sesame seeds and greens can improve calcium levels. What's the best way to have them to get maximum benefits? So you can include these foods in different forms. It's not that one has to consume just sesame seeds in the sprouted form. Sesame seeds can be added to salads, and greens can be consumed in the form of smoothies or green chutneys as dressings for salads. Greens can also be made into soups and can be incorporated into different other recipes. So whatever way you want, you can just experiment with these foods. And it is also vital to get enough sunlight exposure to get the vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption. Even when we are consuming these healthful plant foods, it's very essential to have vitamin D levels. So the calcium you consume will be properly absorbed. There are many questions coming up. I'm trying to answer. Yeah. So how to frame a weight gain diet and a weight loss diet? I think this has to be worked by studying the particular person's needs, and it has to be um, planned accordingly. In general, a weight loss diet will have less fats, whereas in a weight gain diet will give more importance to uh, increased calories, increased fats, and healthy fats, not unhealthy fats, and also to take care of the protein. It's not a very difficult thing. So if you work with your nutritionist or a health coach who has knowledge in this, or who is well informed about whole food plant-based nutrition, it would be very easier to plan your diet accordingly as per individual needs. So there's another question about soaking. You had mentioned you have to discard the water in which we have soaked the legumes and pulses. It's the same with rice too. Yes, it's better you do the same with rice and any other grains too, so that the phytates or removed. Another question is, do we need to roast the sesame seeds before using, or soaking is enough? It depends upon the recipes. If you're using it in salads, I would recommend soaking the seeds, draining the water and adding it. And you could also add it in some salad dressings. And in some recipes, even after soaking, you can slightly dry roast it to bring in a crispy taste. It depends upon the recipes.
Yes, there is a question from Rahat. Is it okay if I read that question to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying that he was a non-vegetarian by birth and then changed to vegetarian 2 years back. Now I'm 99% vegan because I use curd. So he's because of its prebiotic nature, which is prescribed to be my gastroenterologist. Suggest another, please.
Okay.
And there's another question also combined to this also.
Mhm.
What pre and prebiotics are vegan? Initially used to have curd as a prebiotic. So maybe you can cover both the questions
Yeah.
into the same answer.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
this is a wonderful question. So probiotics are those healthy bacteria which colonize our gut. So these healthy bacteria are very essential for the absorption of nutrients, especially B vitamins, vitamin B, and they also help in the conversion of vitamin K to K2, and also helpful for the conversion of omega 3s, which we consume from flax seeds, can be converted into DHA and EPA. We need these healthy bacteria. It's also needed for good immune system. So here, how do we get these healthy bacteria? See, this healthy bacteria can thrive in an atmosphere where there are where we have this prebiotics. Prebiotics are um, the food sources which have a lot of fiber, resistant starches in them. Again, the plant foods like fruits, vegetables, greens, legumes, all these are rich sources of fiber, and these have these resistant starches. So by consuming these foods, we are providing the media for the healthy bacteria to thrive. So to get these healthy bacteria, more of these healthy bacteria, we can try some simple natural recipes like lacto-fermented vegetables. We can also try non-dairy curds like coconut curd, or maybe cashew milk curd, or peanut butter milk. So these are all sources of probiotics where we have this healthy bacteria because of the fermentation process. And lacto-fermented vegetables I would recommend because it's in the raw form with more nutrients. And for prebiotics, just by consuming these plant foods, it would be enough. We'll be able to uh, allow the bacterial colony, the healthy bacterial colony, to thrive in the intestines. So this will be very helpful. Okay.
Someone has asked for the recommended diet for a pregnant person who has taste craving for cooked food.
Okay. So I think this has to be taken on a personal level, better discuss with your nutritionist or your doctor. And some general recommendations are like ensure that you're bringing in all these healthful foods. These cravings can happen because of some deficiencies. And if you're taking healthful foods, cravings also come down.
Yeah, thanks, Meenakshi, for asking this question. I just read your name. So the next one is that there is a lot of going on internet about the health benefits of rice water. So are they good or not?
The fermented rice water or the fermented rice drink is a good source of probiotic. So if you're in the habit of taking rice, it's okay to consume that. And for those who want to avoid grains and just to have other forms of probiotics, they can try this lacto-fermented vegetables or the non-dairy curds and yogurts. These are all beneficial foods providing the probiotics. So there's another question that can we consume dark chocolate? I would recommend, if you want to have chocolate, make it yourself with organic raw cocoa powder and dates. I think you can check the recipe section. You may find something in the Welcare website, yeah, for the recipe. I hope we have answered almost all of the questions. And thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you for your interesting questions, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to, um, share whatever we have learned. Yeah, there is mm, there is another question about vitamin B12 and vitamin D. So vitamin D, as I said, sunlight exposure is the best source for vitamin B12. B12 is produced by bacteria, cyanobacteria. And if we are eating a healthy, organic, whole plant-based diet, the chances are there that we may get this, we may get access to a little bit of vitamin B12. But again, experts are not recommending that this is a reliable source. So vitamin B12, I would on a whole food plant-based diet, you may have to take it as a supplement or in the form of a fortified food. So that is what experts recommend. I hope we have answered all the questions. Now we'll be closing this session, and we're going to give some information about the upcoming program. So we are going to be discussing about the upcoming event. We have planned an event which is about diabetes. So it's one of the leading lifestyle diseases, and we know there are many people who are struggling with diabetes. To help them recover from diabetes, to help support their system, to help support their uh, health journey, we have come up with a 3-day online course for diabetes. So this is going to be very interesting, and I would request Valcure team to share the details about this program for those who have registered for today's webinar. And this is going to be a 3-day program, in the sense 3 days from we will be having an hour of Zoom session where I will be discussing about the causative factors of diabetes, and we'll be we'll be learning more about the benefits of a healthy diet in managing blood sugar level in a natural way. And we'll also be discussing about how to incorporate healthful foods and how to apply this knowledge. We all know that this whole food plant-based diet is beneficial for lifestyle diseases. Now we were discussing about this in this webinar, but we'll be learning a little bit more deeper in this upcoming program, this upcoming online program. And we will also have question and answer sessions like this in this 3-day program, where you can ask your questions about uh, diet, and especially diet in regards with diabetes. These are all the special features of this online program which we are going to launch. This is a very good program to educate yourself, to learn and unlearn many things, to get more information about the nutritional science which may benefit diabetic patients. Yeah. So thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to connect with you all in the upcoming program.
Thank you, Dr. Saravanan. We have put the link to join our webinar group in the chat. So we want you to please join there. And that group is only admin settings, so that we will not be nobody will be disturbing you in that group. And we will be sharing all about this, Dr. Saravanan, this program. And next month, we are going to have a women's health webinars over the period of April month. So please keep updated. And thank you so much, Dr. Saravanan. Thanks, Prateek, for helping me out into this. Thank you to all of you for being there and making this session very interactive.